What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 460th edition of TSR Live, your daily dose of red pill truth, wisdom, and awareness. We are streaming live to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, so however you are watching, wherever you are watching from, thank you for making the Sharpe reality a part of your daily routine. Let's get right to it. One of the many consistent staples we teach in the manosphere is that men and women are very different from one another, okay, obviously. But the world would have us believe that we are the same. But not even the world really believes that. Everyone knows that men and women are very, very different from one another, and one of the biggest differences is that men like to solve problems and women like to talk about them. Neither is better or worse than the other. This is just how men and women are different in this regard. This is just how it is. Now, a lot of guys wonder why their wives or girlfriends get upset with them when they offer solutions to a problem that she's talking about, right? She'll come home and she'll talk about how she can't stand it when her boss gives her way too much work. And when you say, well, ask your boss to give you less work, she gets irritated. She wasn't looking for a solution. All she really needed was to talk about it. And if you let her finish without offering a solution, she feels better even though her problem wasn't solved. If your woman needs a solution, she'll ask for it. But most men, being the problem solvers we are, we offer unsolicited solutions because that's in our nature. It's just who we are, guys. Now, something that men should be aware of is that different problems take different amounts of time to solve. For example, if your dog pees on the floor, it takes 15 seconds to clean up. If your engine's running a little rough, it takes about an hour to change your oil and oil filter. Simple math. But when it comes to major issues, major changes, major challenges or problems, most men are unaware of the fact that they can't be resolved in just one day. If someone is overweight, it takes months and sometimes even years to get back down to that healthy weight. It takes consistency. It takes discipline, right? It takes a complete lifestyle change. But people think they can take the same approach as the pee on the floor or changing their oil and buy weight loss pills and expect to drop 30 pounds in 30 days. And guys, it never works out that way. What ends up happening is that they end up a lot worse off than they were before. People think that they can change their finances by getting involved with one of these pyramid schemes or starting a YouTube channel, right? Like a get-rich-quick scheme. But when the CEO of the pyramid scheme, right, when that guy is arrested for fraud and their YouTube channel's got maybe 54 subscribers in 6 months, only then do they realize, oh, well, maybe this takes time. Maybe this takes discipline. Maybe this takes patience. Maybe it takes things to build wealth and a stable financial future. Well, men and women alike, we attempt to solve major problems with minimal effort more often than not. Okay, they think they can Google how to get rich or how to make money online, how to become an alpha male. Google spits out what they believe is the cheat code, and voila, problem solved. It never works out this way, and people end up learning this the hard way. The thing is, despite the fact that they can never resolve these major issues with minimal effort, people continue to look for shortcuts and cheat codes to solve major issues in their lives without challenging themselves or staying disciplined or consistent over an extended period of time. One of the biggest issues, if not the biggest issue in just about that just about every man has in his lifetime is a bad wife, bad girlfriend. He's married to an overweight, bitchy woman with an attitude who doesn't sleep with him. She's not giving him sex. She doesn't cook. She spends more time watching Orange is the New Black or on her phone than anything else. Now, most men would just love to just kind of up and walk away, right? Obviously, men can't do that now without her taking her pound of flesh, what with the bias in the family court systems. Not only will he lose custody of his children, his soon-to-be ex-wife will be entitled to at least half of his present and future earnings because of child support and alimony payments. This is one reason why most husbands out there, they just grin and bear it and they suffer in silence. The other reason a lot of men choose to stay with their wives is because they genuinely love their wives. She may not be who she used to be, but he fell in love with her for a reason. And every man with a bad wife secretly hopes that she'll all of a sudden morph into the woman he first met, and unfortunately, this never happens. Now, we could all sit here and say, well, if my wife got an attitude and she started getting fat and didn't give me sex, I'm gone. But it's very easy for someone on the outside to say to say that about someone he has no emotional connection with, right? But when you are the one actually in the relationship with someone you have been married to for 7, 8, 10 years, you've got 2, 3 kids together, happy memories. It's not that simple, guys. It's very easy for someone who is emotionally divorced from the situation to give advice, albeit good advice, because the best advice we all know is given by someone who is impartial, someone who is on the outside looking in. But picking up and leaving your wife after 10 plus years and 3 children, that's a lot easier said than done, guys. So now the question becomes, well, what is a man to do if he feels trapped because of the family court systems, or if he actually loves his wife, or both, right? Well, today I'm going to offer a solution. Now, this isn't going to be some hocus pocus magic bullet cheat code, right? Like, dress like this, say this and do that, and she'll want to have sex with you more than ever. It just doesn't work that way. This is going to be a very drawn out, very carefully planned and executed strategy to get your wife back in line and your marriage or relationship back on track. Now, I'm going to give you guys a couple of warnings here before I get started. Number 1, this will not be easy. Guys, this is going to take time. It's going to take effort, and it's going to take balls. If you don't see this through to the end, I can assure you, you will end up worse off than you already are, just like the idiots who buy the diet weight loss pills. Once you start this process, guys, there is no going back. So you have to decide in your mind if it is really worth it to undertake this process, go all in and get your wife back, or if it's too difficult, or if you're okay being trapped by a woman who only has sex with you on your birthday or on Halloween when you've got the George Clooney mask on. Number 2, this is not guaranteed to work. The hard truth, guys, is that if this process doesn't work, if this process doesn't light a fire under her ass, then guess what, gentlemen? Your wife doesn't love you anymore. Okay? I would even go as far as to say that if you get more than halfway through the process, your marriage is probably over. Now, as crappy as that sounds, there is good news. By seeing this process through to the end, even if you know halfway through, there is no hope for you guys. I can almost guarantee that you will have fallen out of love with her at that point anyway, and you're going to find out why that is a little bit later on. So now you guys are probably thinking, okay, Donovan, what is this process you're talking about? This all sounds too good to be true. You're telling me that if I see this process through to the end, I'll know my wife doesn't love me anymore, and I will no longer love my wife? You're telling me that there's a win-win situation for me here? How the hell can this be? I am loosely basing this process on a Red Pill Reddit post from a long time ago called The 12 Levels of Dread. It was published years ago. And guys, it is solid gold. And it's one of the last posts on Red Pill Reddit that's actually worth a damn. The only problem is that the post lacks context and examples. It's an excellent outline. It's an excellent guide, but it's not really much more than a skeleton with no meat and no bones. That's just how it is. So I'm going to put the meat on those bones. And I myself, Donovan Sharpe, I'm going to give you a comprehensive 9-step process to getting your wife back in line. A few of the 12 levels of dread, they were just fluff. So I cut the list down to my own 9 steps. Now, if your marriage really is over, you're going to have to decide whether or not you want to stay with her until the kids are out of the house, or if you just want to cut bait and take your chances in court and hope you don't get bent over by the judge. But not to worry, guys. Episode 440, that's 440, that discusses at length what a man can do to mitigate and maybe even eliminate the damage of an impending divorce, and maybe, dare I say, even win his divorce. So definitely check that out if you've decided that you definitely want out of your marriage. Now, before I get started here, I want you to know that the first 6 of these 9 steps, they all take about a month or so to execute. This isn't a 2-week process, okay? this is going to take you anywhere between 8 months to a year to fully and correctly execute. And the first 6 steps take the longest, like I said, about a month apiece, give or take. If she isn't in line by the end of 6 months, you're going to have some tough decisions to make. You also need to keep in mind that these are in sequential order. Gentlemen, I cannot stress this enough. You have to execute this process in this specific order. You can't skip any steps. You can't rearrange things. These are all to be done in a specific order for very specific reasons, and you'll see why once we start going through the steps. It is Monday, June 3rd, 2019. It was a hell of a day yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday, and it was a crazy, crazy day, man. We had an atom bomb drop in the white manosphere. And you guys can go and check that out. I'm not going to talk about any of that stuff. I'm not going to get into that. And then, of course, I was dealing with some nonsense of my own in the black manosphere. Usually Sundays are my day to kind of relax, kind of take it easy after a hectic week, get some show prep done, get some notes done, maybe do a little bit of housekeeping both on my podcast and in my own house. But my house is still a wreck because I was completely and totally occupied yesterday. I had a lot to do. And like I said, there were a lot of things that happened, both in the quote unquote white manosphere and the quote unquote black manosphere. And it was a heck of a day. It was a very eventful day. It is not one. It's certainly a day that I will not soon forget. While I'm at it, shout out to Jeremy L for the $20 contribution yesterday via the Streamlabs link. I didn't get a chance to shout out my super chatters or my contribution, my donors, my benefactors on last night's stream. My apologies, guys, for not shouting you out, my super chatters at the time. I was hyper focused on what I had to do, and I didn't want to get diverted from what I wanted to get across. I think I handled myself very, very well last night. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I'm not going to discuss it. I'm not going to talk about anybody's names. I said what I had to say. I washed my hands of the situation. It's over with. I'm not going back to that. That's just all there is to it. And that's the end of it. Guys, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell your family, tell anyone you know about my channel. I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Also, sign up for my newsletter at donovansharpe.com/newsletter. Again, that's donovansharpe.com/newsletter. I am putting that in the chat right now. And if you want exclusive content that is not found on YouTube, not found on social media, not found anywhere else, sign up for my Patreon. This weekend, I released a 2-part series on why promiscuous women are so easy to fall in love with and how to protect yourself against their manipulative techniques to lock you down. Later today, I am releasing Donovan's 7 ironclad rules to follow when hooking up with single mothers. Great information there. So be sure to go to patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe to get your hands on that content. If you guys want to contribute, you can do that via Super Chat, or you can do that via the Streamlabs link that I'm putting in the chat right now, www.streamlabs.com/Donovan Sharpe 1. That is www.streamlabs.com/Donovan Sharpe /Donovan Sharpe and the number 1. Like Jeremy L did. Again, shout out to him for a $20 contribution. Shout out to Bob in Sacramento, who just continues to, and he hates it when I shout him out, but Bob in Sacramento is right now approaching $1,800 in contributions to the show since I started this thing. $1,800. That is 1,800. I greatly appreciate Bob in Sacramento. I would love to name a segment or a part of the Hall of Fame after him, but Bob, listen, he's a very private guy. He says, "Listen, Donovan, I appreciate it. Please stop shouting me out." But I gotta shout you out every once in a while, Bob. Bob has been there since the start. He's one of the TSR OGs, Freelance Ronin, Pine Frank, Miami J, those guys. So I appreciate the contributions there. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. The 9 comprehensive levels of dread based loosely on the 12 levels of dread. So, month number 1, you need to learn to recognize and start passing shit tests. Shit testing, or congruence testing, fitness testing, I think as they call it in the UK, this is a woman's way of testing your manhood. This is how women filter out the men that they want to sleep with from the men that they will use for all of their non-sexual needs. Women do not shit test men that they are not sexually attracted to. So if you start talking to a woman and she starts to become sexually attracted to you, she will deploy the fitness test, the congruence test, to make sure that you are the man you are presenting yourself to be. If you fail that congruence test, if you fail that fitness test, she loses attraction. If you fail the very first congruency test, the very first fitness test, you're finished and she's already moved on. So for example, if you've been talking to a girl for 20, maybe 30 minutes, and you hand her your phone and you say, you know what, you seem cool here. Put your number in my phone, we'll hang out. And she says, well, I have a boyfriend. That is a fitness test. Okay? She entertained a half an hour of conversation with you because she is attracted to you. She wants to know if you really are the charming, the witty, the attractive man you have presented yourself to be. Now, if you respond with, oh my God, we spent the last 30 minutes talking and you're going to tell me now that you have a boyfriend, you have failed that fitness test. But if you respond with, well, he's not invited, right? And keep the phone handed out, you have passed that fitness test. You have passed that congruency test. Whether she has a boyfriend or not doesn't matter. That's immaterial. She is more attracted to you because you completely ignored the fact that she told you she had a boyfriend. Guys, women shit test their husbands all the time. There are too many examples to even name, but I can give you one that Devin tried a while back. This is funny. So we'll be sitting watching TV, and I would say, all right, we're going to bed. Then she would say, okay, can you get the light for me? Okay. Now, she knows that before I retire to bed for the night, I always go around the house to make sure all the doors are locked and all the lights are turned off. Devin knows this. But the very first time she asked me this, I told her, you don't have to tell me to do something I'm already going to do, sweetheart. Now, whether Devin knows this or not, that was a fitness test. She was shit testing me. She was simply trying to get me to perform an inconsequential task, as in to possibly control my behavior down the line. No, she would never know that, right? Or I'll put it to you this way. She would never know that she is fitness or congruency testing. A lot of girls do this just off the cuff. It's just part of their operating system, right? Most women are completely oblivious to the fact that they are constantly giving their husbands fitness tests. But it starts with, can you get the light? Then later on the next day, maybe it's, why is the toilet seat up? Before you know it, she doesn't want to give you oral sex. She's giving you lackluster oral sex. All because I didn't know that her attempt at controlling my behavior, all because I didn't nip it in the bud when it started. Now, someone might be thinking to themselves, okay, Donovan, all right. She just asked you to turn out the lights. It's no big deal. And my response would be, it was more than just about the lights. This was about controlling my behavior. Devin knows I turn off the lights every night. I've done that since we started living together. But all of a sudden, she wanted to ask me to do something she knew I was already going to do. She actually tried it for the next couple of nights, got exactly the same response. No, she doesn't. Now she doesn't ask me to get the lights. When I say it's time for bed, she picks her ass up and goes to bed without another word. Anytime someone talks about fitness tests, congruency tests, they're almost always referred to pickup game or with their girlfriends. But we rarely talk about the kinds of fitness tests that our wives deploy, that our long-term girlfriends deploy. Don't get me wrong. A lot of the fitness tests, a lot of the congruency tests, they are the same, but the context is very different. At any rate, learning to recognize and passing fitness tests is absolutely paramount when it comes to saving your marriage. Guys, there's plenty of information out there on how to pass fitness tests, including my own website and on my Patreon page. All you have to do is Google how to pass fitness tests, how to pass shit tests, and you will be inundated with information galore. Month 2, self-improvement. This is Red Pill 101, guys. Self-improvement is simply another way of saying increasing your value and maintaining your high value. This means getting yourself into shape, becoming more financially responsible, developing new skills, or taking up new hobbies that improve you as a man. For example, take Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, take a boxing class, take some sort of martial art, take some sort of fighting discipline. This will not only get you into better shape, you'll start to have more confidence around men, which is highly attractive to women, including, as it happens, your own wife. Plus, when your wife learns that you're studying a martial art, she will be naturally more attracted to you simply because she'll feel more protected and safe when she's around you. Oh, Donovan has taken up a boxing class. All right, I can feel a little bit more safe around him. And she doesn't think this consciously. This is all just subconscious. Women do a lot, women and men alike, we do a lot of things on autopilot. It's just in their subconscious. If it's almost like a computer system. Husband is learning to fight. Husband is learning jiu-jitsu. Husband is learning Krav Maga. I feel safer with husband. I'm more attracted to husband. This is just how this works. They don't think about this consciously. They just react subconsciously. Start riding your bike or join a cycling club. Buy a gun. Learn to be a sharpshooter. Go hiking. Take up archery. Take up woodworking. Join a bowling league. Get a motorcycle and join a motorcycle club. Any kind of hobby or activity that requires both your dude, listen. Take up any activity that requires your body, your body and your brain. That will not only improve your value to yourself, it will improve your value to your wife, and she will notice. Again, don't take up video games. Take up activities that require both, that puts duress on your body and your brain. Boxing, jiu-jitsu. Those things put you under physical stress. Jiu-jitsu requires you to not only think your way out of a situation, you have to physically get yourself out of a situation. If somebody has you on in the side mount, you got to think and react physically to get out of that situation. This increases your value. Plus, here's another thing. Your wife will see that you were taking initiative. And as we all know, women are highly attracted to ambitious, masculine men who are always on the go. Never stop increasing your value as a man, gentlemen. I cannot stress that enough. When you join a club, take up a discipline, start involving yourself in hobbies, you'll be much less available to your wife. This means that she will value the time she does have with you as a natural byproduct of the simple economic principle of supply and demand. The less you are around, the more she should appreciate the time that she has with you. A lot of wives are just sick of their husbands being around all the time because their husbands don't do anything outside of the house, right? All they do is they get up, they go to work, they come home, they sit around, they watch TV, rinse and repeat. They don't show any initiative. They don't show any ambition to improve. And then they wonder why their wives don't want to have sex with them at the end of the night anymore. When you build a life outside of your wife or your longtime girlfriend, she will value that time she has with you a lot more. I'm not saying abandon your kids to go take up a boxing class. You'll have to make sure that you're also being a good dad. But there are plenty of dads out there who are excellent dads and have a life outside of their families. And guess what? They still have the respect and adoration of their wives and children. Month 3. Start conditioning your availability to your wife with her treatment of you. In other words, if she doesn't want to satisfy your sexual needs, then find something else to do. Remember, you're busy now, and you don't have time for a sexually disinterested, annoyed, or angry wife. Take up another 2 or 3 hobbies if you have to, but if your wife doesn't start having sex with you, then start making yourself less available. If she starts to come around and gives you more sex, then make yourself a little more available. Again, guys, this is simple math, basic red pill game. As simple as this step is, it is very, very important that you follow through. If your wife is not having sex with you, but you are still making yourself available to her, she will continue to keep her legs closed. But like I said, in the step-by-step guide to this list available, listen, you are the more valuable one. Okay? There's less time, so she should be more appreciative of your time. So if you walk up behind her, you bite her neck, you try to hit on her, you're rubbing all on her, and she tells you she has a headache, don't trip. Simply back off, shrug her shoulders, and tell her that you're going to gym to work out. You grab your gym bag and leave without another word. That's not even my idea. That was actually the great Ryan Stone. He calls it the gym bag routine. If you want to go, listen, if you want to have sex, if you know that you want to have sex on your wife, and hit on your wife early in the afternoon or early in the evening. You come home, all right, I'm horny, I want to have sex with my wife. Go upstairs, pack your gym bag, leave it at the door. Walk up behind your wife, start kissing on her. She's going to know you want to have sex. I have a headache or I'm tired. No problem. No problem, sweetie. Where are you going? Headed to the gym. When are you coming back? Later. Month 4, start dressing better. So you've been working out for the last 3 months, and your physique is definitely going to change for the better, provided you're also eating clean, watching your diet, etc. In month 4, you need to upgrade your wardrobe, start dressing better, and start dressing up more. Not only does this increase your value as a man, it increases your value to your wife. Trust me when I tell you guys, your wife will definitely notice you dressing better. Most women positively respond when their men starts to dress better. There's a famous song by ZZ Top. Every girl's crazy about a sharp dressed man. Truer words are never spoken, guys. I would also submit to you that not only does this increase your value as a man, it increases your value and worth to your wife. And I'm not just talking about buying a couple of pairs of pants and a few shirts. No. You need to completely overhaul your entire wardrobe. Listen, go to YouTube and Google Kevin Samuels, Tanner Guzzi. Watch videos on style. Watch the videos I've done with Kevin Samuels. There's all kinds of information out there that will have you well informed on what it takes to dress to the nines. I'm not saying that you have to go out and buy a bunch of $3,000 Italian suits and an expensive tuxedo and look like you're off to a black tie event every day of the week. But men who dress well separate themselves from just about every man out there, because most men don't really pay much attention to their clothes. I'm as guilty of this as anybody. I don't really leave the house that much. During the week, the only time I really leave the house is to go to the gym. But if you're running out to the grocery store, if you're out and about, especially if you're working, you got to start dressing better. Your wife is going to notice. And if you have a little extra coin to spend, you should even hire maybe a fashion consultant. A fashion consultant will guide you every step of the way, have you looking your best. Guys, fashion consultants are not cheap. But the right one will have you looking better than you've ever looked before. You also need to invest in colognes. A couple of bottles of $80, $90 cologne that will top off your new look, guys. When you undergo this image makeover, your wife will definitely notice. I'm here to tell you. If she loves you, if she really loves you, she will start to respond positively, as all women do when their husbands dress, look, and smell better. So at this point, we've gone through 4 months. At this point, you become proficient at recognizing and passing shit tests, congruency tests, fitness tests. You're getting into much better shape. You're taking up productive masculine hobbies that add both value and agency. Maybe you're in a boxing class. Maybe you're taking Krav Maga, right? While you're also at the shooting range 2 nights a week, trying to decide whether or not to get a silver top Glock or the Desert Eagle. You've started to withdraw your behavior, or your attention rather, when your wife doesn't give you sex, and now you're looking and smelling better than you probably have in years. At this point, after month 4, your wife is going to respond in one of 2 ways. The first way she might respond is she will realize that you have drastically increased your value. You don't put up with her shenanigans. You don't fail her fitness tests. You're much more physically attractive. You look better. You smell better. You're a better fighter, etc. Basically, you're a hell of a lot more attractive than you were 4 months ago. If your wife really loves you and has completely checked out or have started having sex with someone else, maybe even an affair, and God knows you don't need to know that, she should start to turn the corner and be a better wife. Right? She should start having sex with you more. She'll start cooking your meals. She'll start doing all the things she did to earn your commitment in the first place. Most wives at this point, they get the message. They think to themselves subconsciously, well, Donovan doesn't put up with my nonsense anymore. He's going to the gym all the time, and he's looking pretty good. He's riding motorcycles every weekend, and he's taking up a boxing class on Tuesday and Thursday. He looks great since he started dressing better, and he seems a lot more confident. And if your wife still loves you, she will fall right back in line because you've increased your value, and you've reminded her of why she fell in love with you in the first place. So long as you stay consistent, you stay disciplined, and keep your new habits and hobbies, this will reboot the marriage and hopefully get things back on track. Not only the marriage, maybe a long-term relationship. Here's the second way your wife or girlfriend could respond. If she doesn't love you and she's checked out, or she's still on the fence, or she's just a hard-headed bitch who needs a little more motivation to get herself together, we move to step 5, which is month 5. Start to learn pickup game. Now, when I say pickup game, I'm not talking about, hey, are you from Tennessee because you're the only 10 I see. I'm not talking about cheesy pickup lines, mystery method, canned lines opener. No. I'm talking about learning how to strike up conversations with pretty girls and escalating to the point of generating sexual interest. Now, you're not going to go out and start getting phone numbers and setting up dates, at least not yet. But you need to take a solid month and read up on how to approach beautiful women, how to carry on short but effective conversations that indirectly tell women that you are sexually interested in them, how to number close them, and set up a date. Again, you're not going to take action just yet, but you're reading up on this stuff. You're practicing, you're rehearsing, you're doing this stuff in front of the mirror, you're studying body language. You're brushing up on your fitness test game. You're learning how to spot indicators of interest, or IOIs, or as Alpha Male Strategies likes to call them, choosing signals. You're learning what to look for. You're learning what not to look for. You're learning when to approach, when not to waste your time, when to cut the conversation short, when to go in for the kill. When you have started to learn pickup game, you can now move to month number 6. Now you're going to start using your newfound skills, but not on girls. You're going to start using your new pickup skills on your wife, on your long-term girlfriend, okay? Strike up conversation with her. Flirt with her. Pass those shit tests, those fitness tests. Be playful. Be charming with her. Smack her ass. Now, this will accomplish 2 things. Number 1, it's going to make your wife feel young and attractive again, and it should lead to more sex. Number 2, it will sharpen your newfound skill. If your wife is not receptive to your seduction techniques, this is actually a good thing. Well, why is that a good thing, Donovan? Well, because you're getting numb to the failure in the comfort of your own home. If your wife rejects you, try again. If she rejects you again, try again. Keep trying. Keep practicing and keep at it. The more you do this, the better you're going to get at it. And the more she rejects you, the more impervious you become to rejection. Trust me when I tell you that being unfazed by the prospect of being rejected by girls, guys, it is a feeling of invincibility. And I'm not exaggerating here. It is a beautiful thing when you see a hot brunette with huge boobs and you just walk up to her without even thinking, because you don't really care if she rejects you. It's a beautiful thing, man. It really is. So, now we have reached the end of month number 6. Now you're in the best shape of your life, or close to it. You're close to getting your blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and you've started bringing your son to class. So you're going to sign him up too. You're also now going to the shooting range regularly. You've gotten a concealed carry permit for your silver top Glock. Your wife knows that if she wants you around, she's got to feed you, she's got to have sex with you, she's got to be a better wife. You're constantly updating your look because you've subscribed to several YouTube channels on men's fashion, so your threads are still top notch. And you're looking good every time you leave the house. You're also flirting with your wife more. You're practicing seduction techniques. You're making her feel young again, and she knows that she can't just order you around anymore. If your wife still loves you, if she still cares for you, this is long-term girlfriends too, chances are she'll come around. You have completely transformed yourself and made yourself into the kind of man that all women would love to be with. A confident, disciplined, physically fit man who doesn't let his woman run all over her while at the same time making her feel loved, desired, protected, who isn't afraid to smack her ass when he feels like it. If she still loves you guys, she will definitely do whatever it takes to keep you around. She will follow your lead and get herself back into shape. She'll act and dress more feminine because you're acting and dressing more masculine. She wears lingerie for you. She transforms because you transformed. All she needed was a reason to care again. All she needed was a reason to take action, and you gave it to her. Understand this, gentlemen. You can't expect your wife to change if you don't. You have to take the lead. You have to take the initiative because guess what? You're the leader. And if you go all in during the 6 month transformation and your wife still loves you, I can almost guarantee that she will make a concerted effort to reciprocate your value. Even if she thought she didn't love you anymore, even if she was thinking about divorce, even if she was on the fence, should I stay with this guy? This 6 month process will go a long way in changing her mind, guys. Maybe she was even having an affair. Hopefully you never find out about it. Making these changes, the ones that I just talked about, they have a way of changing a woman's behavior for the better. Now, let's take it to the other side. If your wife doesn't respond, if your girlfriend doesn't respond by being a better wife or girlfriend, your marriage isn't dead. Your relationship isn't dead, but it is most assuredly on life support. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break out the defibrillator. I'm going to rub those pads together. We're going to send shock waves through her chest that will force her to either wake up or die on the table, at which point you can make a decision on whether or not you want to stay in a loveless marriage under the same roof and maybe sleep in different bedrooms until the kids leave the house, or get the hell out of there and take your chances in the court system. And again, I've got that covered in episode 440, so you guys want to check that out. So I'm going to give you guys the last 3 steps over the last 3 months, but I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to do that on my private stream. So if you want to watch the rest of the show, go to donovansharpe.com/live. Again, that is donovansharpe.com/live if you want to watch the rest of the show. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you on the other side. Actually, quickly, this was actually my mistake. Sorry about this, guys. Big shout outs to a couple of super chatters here. The Grinch God P says a little something on the swisher from the Strag Killer. That's good. I like that. That's funny. Whiskey to Don, always good to see you in here with the $5 super chat. Says thanks for the daily content. Shit. Okay. So again, donovansharpe.com/live to watch the rest of the show. We'll be right back.